Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are excited to have back our friend Timea Urban, better known as the Urban Healer, our Reiki master, and so much more. How you doing, darling?
I'm good. How are you? I've missed you in our weekly sessions.
Missed you too. How's everything been going for you? Is life okay? Everything going good for the start of the new year? I mean, we're 4 weeks in. Yeah. Wow.
Well, yeah, we're at month 2. No, it's been really good. Super busy. Lots of new offerings, a lot of new things that are happening, all good things, but like January just flew by. So I'm like, whew, we need to ground and like kind of reset a little bit.
It sure did. And for those of you who don't know you, give us a little bit of your background.
Absolutely. So my name's Timea Urban, the Urban Healer. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. I have a Reiki master business, and I also do life coaching. I do NLP, I do tapping, I do all the different types of healing modalities. I initially started off as a nurse and been a nurse for almost 10 years now. And I decided to transition into something that's a little bit more holistic, just because it's never just about an illness. It's never just about what's happening, let's say in your body. It has to do with your energy. It has to do with your mind. It has to do with your environment. And I just wanted to be able to bring it all together and show people that there's other ways. It doesn't always have to be a Western scientific approach. It's best when you're looking at everything in older traditions and ancient healing modalities and bring it all together.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know today you want to discuss a little bit about breath work. I apologize.
Yes.
My breath is a little weak. I'm a little sick. So if I can't breathe with you, the doctor said my lungs are really clogged. I'm waiting for my medication. That's why. So let's talk a little about breath work in general and really what it is for those of us out there. And I will participate the best I can because I know you're going to give me some tips.
Absolutely. So essentially, breath work, it's been around for a really long time. It's getting a little bit more popular, and I feel like people are hearing about it more. And sometimes people don't really know what that is. How does it work? So essentially with breath work, you're just changing how you're breathing in terms of the pattern, the depth, the speed, for how long, and you're just changing that pattern. And when you're breathing a certain way, you can elicit a certain response in your body. And this is actually a really powerful way of healing your body, healing your mind, healing your energy. Because as you know, when you're breathing, your breath is life force energy, which is your prana, your chi. So when you're able to change how you breathe, you can actually reset your energy and kind of give yourself more vitality.
Got it. All right. Awesome. Good to know. Now, how does it really work? Will you kind of go into it a little bit?
Absolutely. So when we all breathe, breathing is life. We all do it. You don't know how to do it. You just do it.
I
But
know
then
it's
we
such an
don't.
involuntary thing. And now when you think about it, it makes it more difficult to breathe, especially when I'm breathing through my mouth. But right, it's so
There you
crazy.
go.
It's like, okay, I'm breathing. You don't even realize it until you think
Yeah.
about it.
It's true. But then usually when you're breathing, what are you doing? You're breathing up into your upper chest and you're doing shorter, like quick
Yeah.
breaths, and you might
Mm-hmm.
be rushing, you're in a hurry, you're not being conscious or mindful about it. And then when you're doing that, you're actually not breathing to the best of its like capabilities. You're not getting the full effects. Breathing into your upper chest is going to elicit a stress response because it's like you're almost like mini hyperventilating, and you're going to tap into the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. But then when you're able to breathe a certain way, you can actually tap into the other part of your body, the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you're able to breathe with intention, slower, deeper, in a certain pattern, you're actually able to activate and divert the stress that's happening in your body. And then the thing that's really amazing with this is that you're going into the autonomic nervous system, and then you're getting into this like calm, relaxed state. So you breathing a certain way can actually alleviate a lot of mental and physical conditions, because then you're actually breathing the way you should be breathing and you're calming yourself down, not getting yourself more hyped up.
Got it. All right. So how do people feel when they're starting to practice this breath work?
Well, it's going to be a little uncomfortable at first because we're always patterned to do things in a certain way. And then that's just how you're doing it. And then all of a sudden you're doing it a different way. And then you have to think about it. And then you get awkward about it. Yeah. You're like, what do you mean? You got to breathe in your belly, but you don't have lungs down there. That doesn't make sense. But right. Because I was like, what? That's not making sense. And it's a little uncomfortable because there's certain types of breath work. Let's say you're breathing in and out just through the mouth. And anyone who's ever been sick or had a sinus infection, breathing through your mouth sucks because your mouth gets dry and you you're like, that's uncomfortable. I
Yep.
don't enjoy it. Right. You
So
might
true.
be able to relate right now. So
Uh-huh.
when you're able to breathe a certain way, first you get over the like awkwardness of it because you're now forcing yourself to breathe a certain way. But when you get there, you actually get this super elated, very light sensation through your body. So you almost feel a little bit high. And it's like you will literally feel a little bit dizzy, a little bit giddy, and you're giggly, and you're just like, oh my God, this is what is this? Like I just did this with air that I'm
Yeah.
breathing all the time. And this is what happens when you hyperventilate. So when you're hyperventilating, so you're breathing more, you're hyperoxygenating yourself, you actually go into respiratory alkalosis, which increases the pH of your blood, which then causes the oxygen to be delivered in a different way in your body. And this is a really powerful technique because then it's like you over oxygenate yourself. And like, if you think about it, when you're taking little tiny shallow breaths, you're actually not breathing enough, which might be why you're tired during the day because you're literally not getting enough oxygen. So if you do the opposite and you take nice big deep breaths, you're taking in more air with every breath and you're doing it more frequently, you're actually adding more oxygen to your body, which means then you're going to be more awake and alive / how you should be feeling and you just never realized.
Got
So
it.
then that's the one thing that happens. The other thing is when you're breathing deeper and you're not just in your upper chest, but you bring it down to your abdomen, you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which causes you to begin to relax. And the moment you begin to relax, you allow yourself to release any tension and tightness. You're literally becoming a little bit ooey gooey and just like softening, which then overall feels like you're lighter. And then when you're able to go into that, you're also going to be changing the chemistry in your brain, as well as what kind of thoughts you're going through. So rather than like not being oxygenated and you're tired and you're tense and stressed, you're now going to like a happier state where you're going to be thinking differently. The thoughts are different. You're
Yep.
not as negative. It feels good in your body. So you're feeling good. It's like everything changes. And it's like with breath work, you can do like a full hour session, but you can also do like 5-10 minutes and it can give you that effect. Of course, it's going to be a different, like not as big of an effect, but like it's a huge change in terms of how your day feels. And if you do this every single day, like I do this in the morning, like it has turned into one of my massive rituals. And it's like, I don't have that much time. I do like a 5, 7, 8 minute practice and I'm a different human.
Yeah.
So like highly recommend.
Right. And so basically it's going to increase your creativity. It's going to increase your confidence, self
Mm-hmm,
image and everything
mm-hmm,
like that. Now, what would you
mm-hmm.
say, some other things it can help with, for those maybe dealing with anxiety, anger, grief?
Yeah. So with all of those emotions, sometimes we don't know how to process them. We don't know how to deal with them. They're kind of just there. And then you're like, oh, cool. I'm grieving something, but my life is super stressful. And I don't have
Uh-huh.
time to just lie down and cry. Like I still have to do the things. And then it's like, you just ignore it and then you repress it. Or if there's some sort of a trauma that happened to you when you were younger or like previously in your life at some point, or if you have chronic anxiety, you don't enjoy your job, you're super
Yep.
stressed. I don't know, year 2 of a pandemic, you're exhausted. Like there's a million reasons that people have unresolved emotional stress and traumas that they don't know what to do with. And not everyone can get a therapist on a weekly basis. Like I can't, like it is expensive. And sometimes
Uh-huh.
you don't have the money or the time for that. So with breath work, you're able to regulate your emotional states. You're able to go from like a low energy to a high energy, from like a sad to a happy, from an angry to like more relaxed. And you're able to process the trauma. You actually like work through it. Just like with the tapping, you're physically tapping on those energy systems and you're letting that energy be released. Reiki, you're allowing the energy to move through you and be released out of your body. Breath work, you're exhaling, you're properly exhaling, you're properly inhaling, you're resetting your entire body. So then this is going to help you with the stress, with the anxiety, with the previous trauma. It boosts your immune system because you're finally breathing the way you should be breathing. And like you mentioned, you become more aware, like rather than being in that overstimulated mind state where like you don't really see the world and you're just like buzzing and you can't even think, it
Mm-hmm.
slows down. So then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I see things from a different angle. Okay, maybe I'm finding the solution I've been looking for. Maybe I'll
Beautiful.
do it like this. And it's like, it feels good. Like your confidence will increase, your self-image will increase, like your just overall quality of life will increase because you're actually processing all the baggage that you didn't really want to like carry along anyways.
Well, what are some of the types of breathing specifically? Could you go over that with us? I know there's a few.
Totally. So there is like hundreds. Like I'm just
Oh,
mentioning
wow.
the
Okay.
easiest ones.
Okay.
Like they're like, oh my goodness, there's so many. And I'm not certified in breath work. So like I'm just giving you the like cute basics that you can practice at home and you don't necessarily need someone to help you with. So for example, with box breathing, this is something that a lot of people have heard of. It's so easy to do. And it like gives you like a visual to kind of follow. And essentially what you're doing, you're going to inhale for 4 and
Okay.
imagine it's like a box. So you're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, going across. So then you're holding your breath for 4 seconds. And then you're exhaling for 4. So it's like 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And then you're going back across. You created a box and then you're holding.
Okay.
So usually when you're breathing, you're taking shorter inhales, shorter exhales, and you're not holding. You're just like in, out, in, out, in, out. And like, you're not really like, there's no pattern to it. There isn't a consistency. When you slow down your breath and you actually hold, you allow the carbon dioxide to build up in your blood, which then increases your cardioinhibitory response of the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is a really important nerve to allow you to tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. So if this gets stimulated, you are stimulating the relaxing part of your body rather than the like hyped up part of your body, which then is going to give you this calm, relaxed state. And like even taking a breath and holding for a second, like you're probably not going to be like, what is on my grocery list? Oh, I forgot to do this. You take 4 seconds of like silence. Magic. We all need a little silence. You know what I mean? So that is something that I really, really recommend. This is a great one to do if you're having some anxiety or if you need a little moment of presence or just take a moment to like reset your mind. And again, like you can do this anywhere. This is not like a challenging way of breathing. Like it even gives you a visual.
Got it. And any other ones you wanted to share in particular?
Yes. So you probably hear this often, breathing into your belly. So belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. So your diaphragm is a structure that lines your lungs and it kind of like separates your respiratory tract from like your GI tract. And there's this like little structure. And when you breathe, essentially what happens, it's curved. And then when your lungs inflate, it causes it to straighten and then it pushes everything down and then it comes back up and it assists your breathing. When you're not fully breathing and you're just breathing into your upper chest, you're not activating your diaphragm and you're not like strengthening it or using it regularly. You're also not inflating your lungs properly. Okay. So when you breathe into your belly, side note, you don't put air into your belly, but if you properly take a breath in, your diaphragm straightens, it pushes your like intestines down, which then means they're like squished, so they come out. So there's no air in your belly, but then it just comes out. And you want to be able to breathe into your belly because then again, you're strengthening the diaphragm, but then you're again tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system because your vagus nerve is being stimulated. Okay. And if you breathe into your belly, you're literally telling your body, I am safe, it's okay. If you're hyperventilating, taking super short breaths, what are you doing? You're getting ready to like fight or flight. So it's like you're literally telling your body, like, we're safe. We're taking nice big belly breaths and like nice slow exhales, and it really resets your mind. And again, this is something so easy to do. You can put your hand on your belly and then force your hand to move in and out as you breathe.
Oh, I have a trouble with that a lot. I do the opposite breathing so many times because I'm just my line of work is if you're on like camera, you got to suck up. You don't want to look like you're breathing and you're pushing out your stomach. And it's over the years I've learned that I'm breathing in, Timea, and my stomach's going. It's opposite, and it's not good for you. Clearly, right?
No. Oh my God. So that's something you can like reprogram and do it when you're comfortable and you're at home. I mean, like obviously when you're on camera, like you want to look and feel a certain way and you kind of want to have your sympathetic nervous system activated. So you're like super on point and you're on. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm so like ooey gooey. Like people are like, is she okay? So
Ooey,
totally.
gooey. I love it. I love it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
All
So
right.
the other one that I was going to talk about was purse lip breathing. So you make an O with your lips and you're breathing in and out. So you imagine you're like sucking in with a straw and then you're like blowing out a candle. And when you do that, this is good if, let's say, you're having some shortness of breath, because this like slows down your breathing rate and it keeps your airways open longer. So it's easier for you to breathe. Because like usually you're breathing through your nostrils, but if you're breathing through your mouth, obviously the hole is bigger, you're taking in more air at a time. This is really good because it allows you to move some of the stagnant old air out. So all the times you haven't been breathing properly. So you're removing the old carbon dioxide that's been trapped in your lungs, and you're making more space to be oxygenated, bringing in the fresh air. And again, this is easier to breathe. So this is really good for people who have like certain lung conditions like COPD or asthma and whatnot, but it's kind of like resets you. So let's say you've been running, you're not going to be like, no, you're panting. You're panting through your mouth because you're trying to breathe because you've just increased your metabolic rate and you need more air. So this is something we do all the time, but you can use it in those other times as well if you wanted to kind of over oxygenate yourself.
Got it. No, go ahead.
I was like, I have options here for you.
Go.
Extending your exhales is super easy. Again, anyone can do this at any time. It's like you inhale for 4, you hold for 7, exhale for 8. And again, if you exhale for longer, you're releasing energy. You're releasing that stagnant like air, as well as just releasing that extra stress, that extra anxiety. And this is kind of like when you're stressed, what do? You sigh. If you're like flustered, you're like, we do this.
Yeah.
And our body knows we should do this, but you should do it even when your body's not automatically doing it. So just do it anyways, because it's a great way of like resetting your body.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Once I can breathe, I think these are some good techniques that I can work on, because I can't breathe through my nostrils right now, so I can't even do the alternate nostril one either.
Well, actually, either can I, because I have a deviated septum and I've broken my
Oh.
nose before. So like one of my nostrils is like useless. So it's
Oh
just
my
there
God.
for like, yeah, it's just
I
for
just touched
fun.
my nose and I want to sneeze. I'm sorry. Can you continue?
Oh no, it's okay. Absolutely. So people who can use their nostrils, what you would do is you would inhale through one side. So inhale through the left, exhale through the right. Take a moment, inhale from the right, exhale through the left. And this is a way of resetting the 2 hemispheres of your brain, and you're reoxygenating. It also super reduces your heart rate and stress. It allows energy to be moved. And it's a really, really good technique that like, it gives your mind something to focus on as well. And it's good because like you have to think about like, wait, I inhaled through the left, holding out the right. Okay, holding. Okay, got it. In through, like you have to think about it. So it gives your mind something to focus on as well. So this is a really good like meditative breathing technique. And then the last one that I was going to talk about was circular breathing. This one you should do with somebody. You wouldn't want to do this on your own. It can be triggering, and you don't want to over-oxygenate yourself and get a little bit dizzy or nauseous. This is something you would do with a breathwork practitioner. Circular breathing, you're essentially inhaling and exhaling, and there's no holds. So we don't usually breathe this way. And then you do hyper oxygenate yourself, and you do get into kind of like this overventilated, like super open mind, like super dizzy, tapping into your subconscious mind state. This is really powerful for healing. You can get into repressed emotions, repressed traumas, and really like clear and release stuff. This will probably also make you quite uncomfortable initially. Like you may cry, you might remember something you didn't really want to think about, but when you breathe through it, you let it go and you release it. And it's really, really, really powerful. I've done this, and like it's given me some really beautiful healing opportunities, but like I've done it with someone there. So I wouldn't do this on your own because you may not know how to support yourself.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, also, when should you not be practicing breath work, would you say? Is there someone with a medical condition, or, how do you
Totally.
know if you can do it or not?
With any healing modality, whenever you're trying something new, you should always double check with a medical professional. Of course, I'm talking in a general sense. I don't know what kind of medications people are on, what kind of chronic conditions they have. So anybody who has any sort of respiratory, cardiovascular issues, even things like high blood pressure, you should be mindful. If you have any neurovascular issues like a previous history of an aneurysm, or you have this run in your family, you should double check. Things like osteoporosis or any other physical injuries and surgeries that you might have just had, being mindful of what medications you're on. Any severe psychiatric issues, you should also be mindful of. And actually, if you're pregnant, some of the breathing techniques can be dangerous because if you're holding your breath and you're not breathing, neither is your baby. So there's some things that could elicit kind of like a stress into your child that you don't want to do. So definitely double check with a healthcare professional prior to trying these things.
Got it. And let me just ask you, when did you discover this personally, and how have you seen it affecting your clients with these benefits?
Totally. So I started doing this. It's so funny. It's like, was it pre-pandemic or after pandemic? That's like the timeline everyone has.
Is like, that's before.
That is the timeline. Yes.
Yep.
Was it wave 1? Was it wave 5? Oh, I think it was between 3 and 4. So I found breath work back probably 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Back in the day, this was like something you go to like a yoga studio too, or there's some sort of like an actual in-person event. And it was always an hour long. And then it was kind of tricky in terms of like fitting it into your schedule. You got to commute to go to the thing. So I didn't do it as often as I would have liked. It turned into something virtual, but an hour sometimes is a long time to squeeze into your day. And sometimes you just need a little bit, and you don't want to do like a full, like, let's work through some past trauma. Sometimes I just want to be like feeling good. Okay. I don't want to go through the crying parts. So I started doing breath work through this app. It's called Othership. I absolutely love it. I know the co-founders of this app. It is the best breathwork app I have ever used. And I'm super, super picky when it comes to apps. And I'm super, super picky with practitioners. The thing that I love about this app, say you're like,
you froze for a second. I'm sorry. The thing I love about this app, and then you went blank. Okay.
Oh no. Okay. I'll say it again. So the thing that I love about this app is that you get to choose the experience you want. They have breathwork techniques that will up you and ones that are downing. They're going to down you. So let's say in the morning, I'm going to push one of the up ones and then like, wake me up, or like, let's move some anxious energy, or let's like have breath of fire and like increase your vitality. But then there's also the ones that are down. So let's say you're in this like bit of like an emotional spiral and you need like to get grounded, or you need to be centered, or you want to go to bed and you don't want to hype yourself up. Then you take one of those. They also have longer journeys. So if you want to have a full transformative breath, you can do that as well. So you literally get to choose. And it's like some of their breathwork sessions are 3 minutes. Don't tell me you don't have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes. You even have 10 minutes. Like nobody doesn't have that. And like, honestly, better than coffee. Like I actually forgot to drink my coffee once after I did my breath work because I was so awake that I didn't even think about my coffee. And I was like, oh, interesting. So highly, highly recommend. It's called Othership, and it literally has any sort of technique that you want, any sort of experience that you're looking for. There's music, which is really beautiful as well. If you want to be guided by a guy, perfect. You want to be guided by a woman, perfect. You get to choose all kinds of experiences. And it's so good. It's just such an easy way to reset your nervous system and regulate your nervous system and really move through some of that stagnant energy. Because like we've talked about this so many times, it's like if you don't move that energy, it just gets stuck and it gets shoved down, and then it causes a whole bunch of other ailments to be formed. But if you are consistently checking in with yourself and you're consistently removing those little mini traumas and stressors, life just feels better. And like, can we please just do that? Because life is kind of crappy sometimes and it's kind of heavy right now. So let's find ways to break through that, process that, and take back your power in terms of your healing journey.
Perfect. And speaking of you as a healer, what are some of the other services do you want to mention? Obviously that you do. We have time still. please.
Absolutely. Yes. So a couple of things that have shifted in my business. I do still take one-on-one clients, but I'm limiting the number of people I'm taking just because there's only so much time. I've moved into some group coaching offerings, and my next one's going to be starting March the 6th, and it's going to be Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is always recorded, so even if you can't make the live, you can still come. And I've actually created this program. It's an 8-week program where every week goes through a different thing that people usually struggle with and what they come to me for. So whether it's dealing with some of their past, making peace with the past, feeling good with things that have happened and just like releasing it, whether it's feeling safe in your home, liking where you live, whether it is making peace with your body, with your relationships, with feeling safe to start dating and like be romantic with someone again, whether it is dealing with your physical health, how to feel stronger, how to get the motivation. And I'll be using different techniques. So whether it's hypnosis or Reiki or time technique, NLP, tapping, all that will be used throughout the different weeks. So you get those tools and you get that like one-on-one time with me, even though you're not paying the one-on-one rate. So it's significantly easier in terms of finances. And you can always rewatch everything because it's always going to be recorded. So you get access to that. And essentially it's 8 weeks to just find your joy. And let's work through all the realms that you may be struggling with, because you get to have it all. It's like you don't have like the amazing partner and then the crappy job. No, I want you to have the amazing job and the dream partner and have an amazing social life and feel good about your body. I want you to have it all in a package.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me ask you, that eye behind you, is that the evil eye or no? What eye is that? That's a pretty eye.
It is. Thank you. So my best friend bought that for me for Christmas because I love like anything energetic. And this is like a very like I guess it's like an energetically like safe symbol to keep your energy safe. And
What is it? What does it really represent? Look, I went to Greece this summer and everything was evil eye, but I don't even know what it is. What is it supposed to do?
So I think it's the evil eye. So it essentially like, I guess, pushes away evil energy. So it's like, let's say someone's trying to like send you bad vibes. This is looking back and be like, no, like it like pushes it away. Yeah, actually, see ya.
Get it?
Good. I did get it. Very nice. Well played, Jill. So yeah. So it's like, one, it's cute. And two, it's like, it's kind of just like protective because I'm just like, I'm on Zoom all day, all the time. And it just kind of gives me like a little like bundle of energy protection.
Good. Well, thank you for being here, for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Got to work on our breath work. And how can we reach out to you? Social media, phone number, website, give us all the contact again, please.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, I'm at the urban healer. My website is theurbanhealer.ca, because I'm in Canada, but I have clients all over the world. So please know that. If you want to send me an email, hello@theurbanhealer.ca.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure seeing you always. Glad I got to see you again, sweetheart. And I've been lacking being on social media, so I don't know what's new with you, but everything personally is good. I haven't seen anything.
All things are good. Thumbs up.
So the New Year's going well for you. All right. Because you do some amazing Instagrams, but the truth is I barely posted. And when I post, I just run. And I've been so sick and in my own funk, I'm not even paying attention to everyone. So I apologize.
It's okay.
I'll see you soon
Never
on there,
apologize.
I'm sure. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.